Greetings YouTube and welcome to the Blue Corner. In this video I have for you guys a Cardfight Vanguard deck profile, and this one is going to be on Brawlers as set 5 is now out, which means I finally been able to update this with the new comments from the set that have made this deck even scarier than it was before. And to make a long story short, if you haven't had an opportunity, if you haven't faced Brawlers a whole lot before, chances are you're going to be seeing them more frequently. At least I believe you will be, because this deck is actually insanely good. Like, it's one of Vanguard's few mid-range decks, and it's also an aggressive control deck, which you don't see in Vanguard. But it's something that can rush, it can grind, it can attempt to kill you. Like, it's a really well-rounded deck, and it's legitimately scary to play against now, as if it wasn't before. But anyway, so let's just get started on this. I've profiled Brawler several times before, so you guys know what they do at this point. And it all starts with the starter, Saishin, who you guys also know what does at this point, because I've run him. You run this in every Narukami variant, even in Vanquisher the deck, because killing your opponent's starter is very good, given how most decks have combo-oriented starters. Then for the threes, it's the standard lineup: 4 Big Bang Knuckle Turbo, 4 Big Bang Knuckle Dragon. Then for the twos, 4 Sky Hall Dragon, because I like punishing Rush. I like using a card to set up Conquest Dragon just by himself. He's free retire for only 1 counter blast, and he also enables Finish Blow Dragon, which I am attacking in here at the moment. 3 copies of Big Bang / Buster. I'm only running 3 of these because he does nothing in the early game, which is what I've been trying to improve upon. But when you have a Big Bang Knuckle, just a Big Bang Vanguard, then he gains 2K, so he's an 11K attacker, and for every hit you land, he gains 3K, which is pretty good when you have a Vanguard that can punch 4 things and even 6 things in the dick. So he gets really big and scary. But on turn 2, though, he does nothing as a vanilla. So instead, I've upped the count of Big Bang / Dragon to 2. I was running 1 before, but I found the second one is warranted in here, just so you can call it on side, have your Vanguard attack hit on grade 2, and then he becomes a 12K attacker, if not bigger. And then lastly, to provide a little bit of extra pressure, we have our 3 copies of Shatura. In this deck, Shatura is not as important as in other variants, but the potential draws are nice. He is an 11K beat stick on rear guard without gem break, and he's 21 under Conquest, which is always relevant. Plus, you can just stick him in front of a Kokon and watch the look on your opponent's face when they have to 15K guard this on turn 2. Then for the ones, it's pretty standard fare. So your 4 Perfect Guard G, your 4 10K attackers, as Brawlers are one of those decks that actually has a bit of an early game thanks to this guy. You can just start rushing your opponent if they go second with your 10K beaters and your 9K attackers that could be potentially 12 and higher. And if they don't kill this thing, he ends up being a booster for your Shatura and your / Busters, less than what you hit for relevant numbers. 3 of the new common Secret Fist Brawler Kokon. This card is really good. If you haven't watched my box opening, and I don't blame you because box openings are kind of new, I'll make a quick summary of this guy. He is a clone of Big Bang / Dragon, which means for every attack that your Vanguard makes and hits, he gains 3K. And this isn't restricted to Legion or a Big Bang Knuckle. You just have to have a Brawler Vanguard. So you can, this guy on turn 2 can be a 10K booster if your attack hits, and chances are it will, because your opponent will usually no guard the turn 2 Vanguard play. Even on just turn 1, you can just slap this thing behind a Wild Cloak Dragon, and you can just have your Vanguard attack hits. This thing goes up by 3, so he's a 10K booster, and then your Wild Cloak swings for 20, which is a pretty high number. But then you have your Legion in your turbo turns where you're punching multiple things. Then he gets really stupid. Like, if you punch 6 things under turbo, and this is like behind a / Buster or / Dragon, that's a plus 36 to your column, in addition to any trigger you check. And in Turbo, and in Knuckle Buster, then it's plus 12 to himself, plus 12 to the other one, so that's plus 24. Like, this thing allows you to hit for Conquest Dragon numbers when not in Conquest, which is really, really strong. And thus, it allows you to just threaten your opponent for lethal at just about any time, as long as they have cards to kill. And if they don't have cards to kill, then you just Conquest them. So it's a nice little double whammy. And lastly, 3 copies of the Stride Enabler. I had to cut one out so I could keep my Wild Cloak and my Secret Fist Brawler count at 3 apiece. I kind of want to go to 4 for one of them, but then one of these 3s, but that involves cutting another one to 2, and I feel that the 3-3-3 has been okay so far. Then for the triggers, my lineup hasn't changed. This is what I'm running. So you got your 4 Malevolent Jinn, your 4 Street Fight Dragons, who allows you to shuffle him into the deck to give one of your Brawler rear guards the same skill as Slash Dragon and Slash Buster, so 3k whenever your Vanguard lands a hit. It just allows you to turn any of your rear guards into potentially big monsters during your Legion and Stride plays, which is really nice. I also think that this stacks with Slash Dragon and Slash Buster so that they more or less gain 6k for every hit, but I'm not sure on this. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, or tell me if I'm right, as it could be either or. And then just lastly, 4 draw and 4 heal. So that's the monster lineup. I'd like to say it's fairly standard fare. The only thing I'm doing differently than others is how many Sky Howls I run and how many grade 1s I run. For the strides, you got, of course, your 4 Conquest Dragons. Not much else to say on him. He's freaking Conquest Dragon. He's one of the best strides in the game, actually. It's actually kind of crazy how much this guy's jumped. I was checking out face-to-face games, since I'm Canadian, therefore they're like the best option I've got for cheap and quick shipping. Anyway, I was checking them out. Apparently this guy's gone up from when I last checked, and that's nice to know. I'm happy to see the Conquest is getting the respect that he deserves. Anyway, so you got your 4 Conquest Dragons, 3 turbos now, as to be perfectly honest, turbo being a first stride for potentially 3 hits makes him just better than Zora's now, especially since you have more rear guards that gain 3k whenever you hit something, so you can just stride into this thing first, punch 3 things, okay, they PG or whatever, you still hit 2 things, so that's plus 6 to your rear guards for every hit. Yeah. So 3 of these, you can just flip 1 copy up first, then it becomes plus 5,000 power if you have no booster, and then on the next one you can just flip up a copy of True Eradicator Finish Blow Dragon. He's just something I'm currently testing in here, as I do like the option of being able to Generation Break 2, Counterblast 1, flip anything, and gain Gauntlet Buster skill of plus 5 and a crit whenever you retire something. Now granted, the only way you're going to be able to proc this is with Skyhaul Dragon, but he allows you to potentially just push for some lethal game, or just play catch up if it looks like Conquest Dragon's just not going to cut it, because there are those games where he's not going to. And granted, in those situations you just be going into turbo, but it's an option that I like having in here. I don't know if I'm going to continue running this. I might cut this guy out for a Madu, but we'll see. So I just wanted to put this in here because they have got to finish Blow Dragon, so why the F not? Let's just see what happens. So that's it for the deck itself. A relatively short video, but then again, it's Brawlers. I've talked about these guys ad nauseum several times now. So all I have to say is this deck is legit scary, and I hope it actually starts to see more play in competition, because it's fairly strong. It's one of the few mid-range decks that the game has. It's aggressive control, and it's got fairly strong matchups against a lot of things. Like, the only really bad matchup I can think off the top of my head is Shadow Paladin, and that's just because Revengers are difficult to deal with. But, and of course, decks are just able to like super rush you, and you can't deal with it. Well, the thing about rush decks like Aquaforce is, if you're able to withstand their turn 2 rush, then they're in trouble, because you can just kill them right back with your Skyhaul Dragons, and then you start punching their board out, and they have problems keeping up with that. So rush matchups are kind of 50-50. Control-oriented decks like Kaguro, Link Joker, Mega Colony, you should in theory be able to smash because you're faster than them, and you can kill. You can take away more of their rear guards, and they can take away more of yours. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. As for what's next on the channel, I currently am in the process of trying out Eradicators with the new support, or rather with the new strides. I don't have actually any of the more recent Eradicator cards released, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think they're that amazing, so it's whatever. So working on them, and I'm also working on Vanquisher.deck. And yeah, so just stay tuned for those. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all for watching. Until next time, this is Boost39, jacking out.